Is 5 o'clock and I'm just getting. Hey everybody, Mary here at Mary's Heirloom Seeds, and welcome to my weekly live chat. I'm back to Thursday night. I know last week was Friday because we had a little bit of a crazy week. Today's topic is just a general questions and answers. And then I threw in a little funny there, and that was, will it rain? But before I get to all that fun stuff, hey, Married with Chickens, welcome. Before I get to all the fun stuff, I always like to share the basics. So if you're new here and you've never joined me live, welcome. If you join me regularly, welcome back. In the description section of this video, you will find quite a few links to help you. Hey, Denise, welcome back. You will find quite a few links that I have created for you to grow a healthy garden. My goal here at Mary's Heirloom Seeds has always been to help you grow a healthy garden using heirloom seeds. So you've got, in the description section, you've got a link to my comprehensive planting guide, and you also have a link to several videos I've made, as well as a sign-up link for my emails. We don't sell your information, we just send you information about growing awesome gardens using Mary's Heirloom Seeds. So tonight's topic was a little funny. It's will it rain? We've got like a running joke in this house. My husband always says, I wonder if the weather guessers ever get upset or frustrated that they're wrong all the time. Because today has been another one of those guessing games where will it rain? When will it rain? Originally, we were supposed to have rain most of the day, starting this morning and then off and on this afternoon. So it was like, am I going to go live inside? Am I going to go live outside? It didn't start raining till 3:30. So I really was not sure if I was going to go live inside or outside until about 3:45 this afternoon. So we are inside today. If you have any questions while I am going over a little bit of the questions and answers section, go ahead and ask the questions in the comment section and I will try to get them. Denise says, what is the temperature? So earlier today, it was the heat index. So it was like 90, but it felt like 109, like 90 something, and it felt like 109. So it was like hot and sticky, right? You walked outside and it was like a warm blanket covered you. But it's been overcast most of the day. It hasn't been like sun blaring down on you. So the garden looks really nice right now. Everything has greened up. We've had a lot of rain lately. I know if you watch some of the past videos on the last couple weeks, Married with Chickens says, OMG, that's oppressive. I don't mind it so much. I know my husband is like, oh, this heat is killing me. But, you know, back in 2013, I was at the Yellow Green Farmers Market in Hollywood, Florida. We got started in 2011, and I had a booth in South Florida in the summertime in 2012 and 2013. And that was hot. It was in the shade, 109, crazy hot. So I don't mind it so much. Denise says, are those your new towels behind you? Yes, they are. I am going to talk to you about those. So I've got new towels available. The one here on the outsides, those ones are already available at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. The one in the middle is a bee graphic, and that one is available on my website, but it won't ship out until this week. Both of these graphics were made by my sister, so they're very special to me. And both of the towels are printed here locally by a small business. So if you want to get some awesome towels, they're the softest towels. Denise already has one. She said it's the softest towel she's ever had. They're available on my website, which is marysheirloomseeds.com. Elfrey says, LOL, I'm complaining when it's high 80s. Well, you know, there's a song, I forget who sings it, and it says, I can't complain, but sometimes I still do. You know, you could complain about the weather. I got soaked. My hair's wet. I got soaked running out from the shop back inside to do my video. And I'm like, I'm all wet. And Doc's like, don't complain about the rain. Anyway, So today is a questions and answers video. Sometimes I have a specific topic, but most of the time in my Q&A videos, I try and answer questions that customers have asked me throughout the week. Now, if you have a question that you don't ask during my video, send me an email to mary@marysheirloomseeds.com. Denise mentioned my towels. Also available is Mary's Heirloom Seeds t-shirts. These are something that everyone's been asking about, so I finally have them available. They're available to pre-order until September 11th. After September 11th, they will not be available for purchase until we have another pre-order, because I have to get a bunch of orders ready and then have them printed all at once. Anyway, so the first question I had this week was from a customer asking about seed saving. Now, my last video, we talked about the new seed saving kits that we have, and I discussed a little bit about the basics of seed saving. I got a lot of information on my website and on different social media that we posted. She asked, what size do I want to wait until my zucchini gets to before I harvest it specifically for seeds? So what size of the zucchini should you have before you harvest for seed? Now that is a great question, but there isn't a specific answer. For example, Black Beauty zucchini, I have grown 12 inches long and had some good seeds in it, but I've also grown it 18 inches long, sometimes bigger. Sorry if it gets a little fuzzy here. By the way, if you're just joining me, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. I've got some really funny pictures of me that I can share one of these days holding these giant zucchini, because you really want your zucchini to be overripe specifically for seeds. So you want a large squash to have good solid seeds. However, gray zucchini only gets to be about 6 inches normally. So that's going to be a little smaller when you harvest those seeds. It's more important that it is overripe than a specific size. And also understanding the difference between market harvest and seed harvest. I use that term to differentiate between market harvest is what you would harvest to eat. So that's if you're growing a garden for a farmer's market, or what you would buy at a market, that is going to be a smaller size and not overripe versus seed saving. Now I do have something to show you. Can anybody take a guess while you're watching me here? Can anybody take a guess what this is? And I would be willing to bet none of you will get it. But I will share that with you closer to the end of the video. You're welcome to comment on this video and tell me what this is. It is a variety that we carry at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. It is not the color that you will find on our website. Married with Chicken says pie pumpkin. No. Denise says a gourd. No. It is, I will say this, from the obvious look of it, it is a type of squash. Now, pumpkin is a type of squash. Summer squash, winter squash, pumpkin. Those are all kind of in the general family. The difference being how long it stores sometimes, whether it's on a vine or whether it's on a bush. But I will share that with you shortly. But while you're watching my video, you're welcome to comment and take a guess of what you think this squash is. I will tell you this squash is ready to harvest seeds. You can tell by the color, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with the size, because I have grown these even larger for seeds as well. All right, so another question I had this week was about planting herbs. And that was specifically about if I would be willing to create a specific herb growing guide. And the answer to that is absolutely. I have been actively working on an herb planting guide for several months. Not a problem, but the thing about a planting guide is I don't like to just throw something together and send it out your way in an email. I do prefer to take my time and get a lot of information, both in experience, both in pictures, and also not just what will work in my area. So L3 says, so when you harvest squash for seeds, is the squash still edible? The answer to that is absolutely yes, in my opinion. Some people will say, well, oh no, it's past its prime, whatever. So I'll tell you this. This squash in particular, I almost blew the secret here. This squash in particular, in my opinion, when I harvested it for seeds, some of the others, and I did eat the squash, it was a little more grainy than when I harvested it for just to eat. So generally, I'll just give you an example. If I'm harvesting a summer squash, I'm usually harvesting it for a smaller seed where you can typically eat the seed. A zucchini, for example, you typically want to harvest it early so that your seeds aren't hard, they're more edible. But as it gets larger and as it gets more mature, it does tend to, in my opinion, again, everybody's got a different taste buds here. In my opinion, the actual flesh of the squash gets a little more, I say grainy, granularly, or the texture changes slightly. Now, pumpkin, for example, that's different. Pumpkin, typically, you can harvest those, and your winter squash, for example, the seeds are going to be, hey, Raven Cat Homestead, welcome. The seeds in winter squash are typically ready to go and not a problem. Sherry Lane says, do you wait until the stem is dry? So for those of you just joining me, I am asking you to guess this squash. I have not said exactly what it is. This squash does not look like the picture on our website because this one was harvested for seeds. So you may not be able to guess what it is, but I will share with you in just a minute. So to answer the earlier question, yes, if you are harvesting a squash for seeds, it is usually edible still. It's just sometimes going to be a different flavor if it's a summer squash versus a winter squash or pumpkin. Christian says Japanese squash. Nope, not a Japanese squash. Grew this right here in Texas, and it grows very, very well in Texas. So if you might have received my email a couple months ago, I was raving about how amazing this is. L3 says lemon squash. Nope, but you are getting closer. Lemon squash grows a lot smaller. I would say fit in the palm of your hand lemon squash. And this one is a little bigger. And I will say that this squash can grow even bigger, sometimes taller, sometimes wider. It is native to the state of Texas. All right, I promise I won't keep it a secret. You'll just have to watch for a couple more minutes. Just before I'm done, I'll let you know. So the size of the zucchini, somebody asked me about seeds. That's what we discussed earlier. The herb planting guide, that will be available very soon. Specifically, I was asked for information about planting in Florida. So for our Florida gardeners, you may not realize this, or if you're not in Florida, you may not realize this. Herb planting time in Florida can be year-round, depending on what it is. Nancy says Tatume. You are correct, Nancy. This is Tatume. I'm probably butchering the name of it, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. It is amazing. And Cecilia, I did send you an email, and I did send your seeds, so they should be here early next week. I will check your spam folder if you didn't see it. Somebody did ask me that a couple weeks ago. They said they hadn't gotten my emails, but then they checked their spam folder and it was there. So Cecilia, your seeds are already on the way. So this is a Tatume squash. It is native to the state of Texas. It grows literally in every state. Elder says, OMG, I grew it, but of course mine is not that color. So this is a green summer squash. And if you let it continue to grow, it can be harvested as a winter squash. As it grows and continues to mature on the plant, this is one of the few varieties of squash that can be grown more like a winter squash. And it is one of the few and rare varieties of summer squash that can actually grow on a vine and not just a bush. And this will be This can sit on my kitchen counter for 3, maybe 4 months, and it will not go bad as long as it stays cool and dry. It doesn't sit in water and it doesn't get too hot or too cold. So I love Tatume squash. It is super versatile. You can harvest it young and green and use it just like you would zucchini. You can harvest it when it's older and more mature and it looks more like this. So awesome, awesome squash, one of my favorites. And Nancy, congratulations, you got it. So some of the topics we've discussed today during our live chat was the weather guessers. It rained, so I'm inside today. We talked about when to harvest certain squash, my herb planting guide. So some of you grow in cooler weather, some of you grow in older weather, warmer weather and colder weather. Raven Cat, Cecilia, this is not vanilla. This is actually pink eye, purple hull cowpeas. So it looks a lot like vanilla, but this is one of my seed saving. I just show sometimes when I'm talking about different types of seeds you can share or you can save. This is one of them. And I also have some okra here that we harvested that's nice and crispy. You can see inside there. Let's see if you can hear it. Seeds. So we're going to be harvesting some of those okra seeds. I do have a video and I'm going to share that with you later on. I will not be selling vanilla right now. Maybe in the future, maybe when we get some more established plants, that might be something I can offer. New stuff at Mary's Heirloom Seeds right now is seed saving kits. Not a fan of okra. One cool thing about okra is it is in the hibiscus family. So it produces beautiful flowers, which also attract, it says, Christian says, have you grown spineless okra? Yes, it is one of my best producers here. But growing okra, even if you don't like it, the blooms can attract pollinators and they're also edible. Cecilia says you want to be on the waiting list. I will let you know. A couple other new varieties at Mary's Heirloom Seeds that we've added. We added a pollinator mix that is a bulk pack. So if you want to get prepared for next year and increase pollinators to your garden, that is a really good one. We added 2 new towels and pre-orders of shirts. And last but certainly not least is seed garlic. Seed garlic is an awesome thing we have at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. It is available for pre-orders usually in July. This year we sold out in 4 days. I was shocked. So I just found out that we will have some extras available. If you are watching this video and you did not get a chance to pre-order seed garlic, it does ship out the first week of October. Oh, I'm glad you liked it. Cecilia asked me, she said she had trouble with moringa. So I sent her a little more detailed instructions. We also have it available on our website to try again and see if you can get it to work. So back to seed garlic, and then I'm going to close up for the evening time and get some dinner and maybe relax for a couple minutes before I get back to work. I do have to still go back to work tonight. So seed garlic, if you didn't get a chance to pre-order, you can always send me an email. My email is mary@marysheirloomseeds.com. And if you've got other questions, maybe I didn't answer your question that you had here, or maybe I finished my live video and you're like, dang it, I should have asked her that question. You can always send me an email and I will respond to your email. And I always say, I said earlier, and definitely hit the thumbs up for my video. Thank you, Cecilia. Definitely send an email, but when you do and I respond, you might need to check your spam folder. Sometimes it does go into that folder and it's lost, and you may be thinking, well, that Mary, darn her, she ignored me. But I promise I don't ignore you. I do respond to your emails, but sometimes they get lost in the shuffle. So seed garlic will be available. I will have extras. I always have extras. And then we'll go ahead and send an email notification if you missed it. Any other questions before I end for the evening? I covered a couple fun things today. Tatume squash, by the way, from seed to harvest is 60 days. So it took about 4 days for the seeds to germinate. And then Cecilia says, yes, she does. Every email is always answered. Oh, I appreciate it. And I didn't pay her to say that. So Tattoo May squash was about 4 days to germinate. And then it is a summer squash. So it does produce fairly quickly. So about 55 days later, it did. I need that Tattoo May. I'm right at 60 days. So there you go. And for those of you that are wondering about your frost dates, please keep in mind it is an estimate. So I had somebody really frustrated. Yes, Denise, I do stay hydrated. It is pretty warm here. So someone had a question. They were very frustrated about frost dates. They said, well, they're never right. They're guaranteed and never right. Well, you have to take a step back and realize that frost dates, says I've ordered almost 90% of my seeds from you. Awesome. So frost dates are an estimate. So I use the Old Farmer's Almanac, and there's a ton of different places that have estimates, and they're never always the same. In general, it is an estimate of your last 10 years of frost dates. So I'll give you an example. Last year, the Old Farmer's Almanac said my estimated last frost date was November 15th. The actual last frost date for my zip code was November 22nd. You know what that means? That means I got 7 extra days to harvest non-frost tolerant veggies for my garden before we had a frost. So that was awesome for me. I love it. It's a bonus, exactly. Definitely not upset about that. So what you want to do is your first frost date is your fall frost date. So right now, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at your estimated first frost date. That says today is September 1st, my birthday month, super excited. And if you have your first frost date November 1st, that means you have all of the month of September and all of the month of October. So that gives you what, roughly 61 days before your first frost. So thank you, Christian. I appreciate it. It's not yet, but I'm really excited. Thank you. So that'll give you an idea. Now, again, it's an estimate. So you got to kind of give it a little bit of wiggle room. Mother Nature has these amazing, crazy stuff. So we just have to make sure that we work around it. Alrighty, everybody. I am done for the evening. I'm going to go drink some water, stay hydrated, and maybe go plant some seeds while I still have some daylight. Thanks for joining me, everybody, and happy planting.